Have you ever stopped to ask what a man actually gives when he sleeps with someone? It's not just the body, it's not just performance. What he's really offering, often without even realizing it, is his soul. A soul that's starving for validation, for affection, for the feeling of finally being seen and chosen. But that need comes dressed up as desire, as lust, as confidence. What looks like a physical act is often spiritual desperation, because at the heart of it, most men aren't chasing sex. They're chasing a moment of being fully seen, of being held not just physically, but emotionally, even in their brokenness. Men who kneel at a woman's body aren't seeking pleasure. They're seeking affection they never received. It looks like lust, but it's ancient hunger wrapped in ego. The masculine desire to perform, to dominate, to impress. It's just the surface. Underneath is a man who wants to be accepted without having to earn it. When intimacy is real, all the performance gets stripped away. The armor starts to crack, and that's where Carl Jung's psychology steps in. The body becomes a symbol, the shadow becomes a mirror, and only someone brave enough to go deeper will ever see the truth hiding behind the mask. Jung never saw intimacy as just biology. He believed it was a conversation between your conscious mind and the deep, unspoken unconscious. Every act, every touch, he saw them as symbols, as bridges. He once said, "Every act of intimacy reveals more than it appears." To him, sex wasn't born in the body. It was born in the psyche. Every movement, every impulse comes from a place most men don't even know exists. That's why real intimacy isn't just an exchange of touch. It's an exchange of energy, of intention, of shadows. And when the wrong woman steps into your life, what should be passion turns into a quiet theft. You don't just feel tired after, you feel drained, not because of the act, but because something deeper inside you was taken. Every time you give yourself away without true connection, you're slicing off pieces of your soul for a few drops of validation. Yes, the female body is sacred, but so is yours. And when two sacred things meet without presence or purpose, what's created isn't love, it's chaos, energetic chaos. You're not just having sex, you're opening portals, and not every portal leads somewhere safe. As this journey unfolds, you start seeing something that was always there, but no one ever taught you to notice. When a man truly surrenders in intimacy, he doesn't just expose his body. He reveals hidden layers of his soul, his fear of rejection, the insecurity he hides behind confidence, the silence that echoes with unresolved pain. Real intimacy isn't about physical nakedness. It's about emotional exposure. It's that raw moment where the inner child shows up, the one who just wanted to be loved without having to earn it. That's more terrifying than any strip of clothing falling to the floor. So many men collapse inside during that moment. Their faces stay calm, composed. But underneath, a quiet crumble. The mask doesn't shatter with yelling. It dissolves in silence. A single touch can awaken the ache of childhood abandonment. A soft gesture can uncover a wound he never found words for. Jung said the unconscious never stays silent. It screams during intimacy. Your body becomes a stage, and on that stage, the soul performs its deepest unresolved pain. That's why some men pull away when they start feeling too close. It's not fear of the other person. It's fear of the mirror. Getting close means seeing yourself. Not the version you show the world, but the one you've hidden away. Masculine collapse doesn't always come from war or tragedy. Sometimes it begins with a single, vulnerable touch that slips past the armor. And that's when the real awakening starts. But it's just the beginning, because most men grew up learning that pleasure is all about performance. Be good in bed, impress her, make her want you. It becomes this show, this act, a man chasing approval through technique. But sacred desire, that's something else entirely. Giving pleasure, real pleasure, isn't about ego. It's about accessing the part of yourself you buried, the softness, the sensitivity, the part you were told to hide. Jung called that the feminine within the man. And here's the paradox. When you truly surrender to intimacy, you don't just connect with her, you reconnect with you. Because sacred pleasure isn't domination, it's presence. Full, unshakable, overwhelming presence. It's where the body becomes an oracle, a mirror, and for the first time, You see yourself. Not the role, not the mask, just you. In that moment, something wakes up, something no performance can fake. This is where desire stops being physical and starts becoming soulful, where sex becomes sacred again, not as an escape, but as a return to self, a ritual, not a performance. But many men still fear that depth. They say they want love, but what they're really chasing is approval. Desire isn't just about connecting to another person. It's about trying to heal an ancient silent wound. That wound that says, maybe if I give enough, someone will finally choose me. And that's where the trap begins. Because when your need to be loved is louder than your ability to love yourself, you start disappearing. You shrink, you bend. You twist yourself into whatever shape might be accepted. And all the while, you think you're loving, when really, you're begging. You're performing kindness, hoping someone finally sees your worth. Have you seen that man? Always available, always pleasing, always overlooked. He's not doing anything wrong. He's just stuck in a loop where love is earned through sacrifice, where excessive kindness hides a deep, unspoken pain. And here's the twist. He starts expecting the other person to fix it, to be his savior, but no one can save you from a lack of self-worth. Only you can do that. That's why the bravest question a man can ask is, what am I trying to prove? Because sometimes being the perfect partner is just a mask for broken self-esteem. Carl Jung said, what you do not make conscious will appear in your life as fate. And he was right. If you don't face your shadow, the parts of yourself you reject, deny, or bury, it will run your life, and it'll show up in every relationship you touch. You'll think it's her, but it's really you. You'll repeat the same wounds, the same patterns, the same story. Because deep down, you're not choosing partners, you're reenacting unresolved pain. And that's why intimacy can feel like a war zone, not because she's the enemy, but because your inner wounds are still bleeding. You show up with strength, with confidence, with control, but inside, you're falling apart, looking for her to fill a void she didn't create, until one day, you realize, the emotional mirror was never out there. It was always inside you, and that's where your healing begins. Not every woman deserves access to your body, let alone your energy. Sex, when done unconsciously, becomes a leaking faucet for your life force. You think it's just pleasure, but you leave feeling hollow. Why? Because you didn't just merge with her body. You merged with her energy, her chaos, her trauma, her past. And if you're not awake, that's how your soul gets drained, drop by drop. There are women disconnected from themselves, addicted to attention, addicted to emotional drama, and when you sleep with that, you inherit it. You take it on like a virus, not because you're weak, but because you weren't present enough to protect your own energy. You're not just exchanging fluids, you're exchanging frequencies. And if she's in emotional ruin, that ruin becomes part of your system. You'll walk away tired, disoriented, confused, and you won't even know why. You thought it was sex, but it was soul contamination. This is why strength isn't about how much you bench. It's about how awake you are when you choose. Your body is a temple, not a dumpster for emotional residue. And if you keep giving yourself to chaos, you'll become chaos. Until one day, you won't even recognize yourself in the mirror. So ask yourself, how many times did you leave a bed emptier than when you entered? How many times did you trade your energy for a moment of connection that was never real? You're not broken. You were just never told the truth. Sex is not a game. It's a ritual. The body is not a toy. It's a portal. Every encounter either rebuilds you or slowly buries you. So now you know. You can't unhear this. You can't pretend you don't see it. The next time you feel tempted to give yourself away to someone who doesn't even know how to hold herself, pause. Ask, is this person truly worthy of my energy? Because sacred intimacy doesn't drain you. It fills you. It's time to stop offering yourself to people who only want fragments of you. You deserve to be met with presence, with reverence, with consciousness. And if this hit you somewhere deep, leave a comment with the part that cracked your armor. Share this with a brother who's still asleep. And subscribe, because this isn't just about sex. It's about who you are when no one's watching. the man behind the mask, the man who's finally ready to come home to himself.